We started 23 years ago, and we were seated in a small house just close to the street. It was a really tiny house, and we started to experiment some stuff there. We gained first star and second star after 15 years, and we wanted to do something more, something better. We discovered this kind of farm. It's really typical from this area. It's a square farm with 5 hectares of fields in the middle of nowhere. It's a kind of square, white square of sugar in the middle of chocolate ground. We can imagine to do something great here, having our own garden just close to the restaurant. It's a kind of dream who becomes a kind of reality. Step by step, we gain the first stars, and the first and the second stars, and it's a kind of recognition, and it helps you to be more known everywhere in the world. And probably at this point, you start to be, you have a kind of message to give to the people. Because you can eat everywhere in the world in very nice restaurants, but you are unique, and you have to show it. I think for chefs, product is really important. I mean, you can't imagine what is product if you never grow it by yourself. When you start to grow some vegetables in your garden, you can imagine it's really a kind of treasure. You spend many times to waiting for. And after, when you have these leeks or these carrots, it looks really simple, but you never imagine to lose something of these carrots, because you use the skin, you use the leaves, you can use the small roots around, you can imagine to ferment them, you can imagine to preserve it and to taking care of. And from this point, you can imagine it's really important to use the techniques or the passion of people who produce this kind of product. It was in 2008, Korean government invited me to have a kind of report of the state of Korean cuisine. I spent 3 days in Korea, really speedy days, pali-pali, as they say in Korea. It was always in a rush, and I discovered so many different kinds of cuisine, street food, gastronomic food, really traditional, and I was amazed by the level and the techniques. And from this point, yes, I wanted to see which part of myself was really Korean. And I think it's a question of food. You can be connected with people when you imagine how they want to eat and how they can share with you. I remember when I touched the ground for the first time in Korea, I had this kind of smell memory. I know this country, I smell this country, and it's in my memory. It was amazing. And from this point, yes, I wanted to be in peace with my mother country.
Our mission is to promote Korean culture to Belgium and other countries. I think the food could be a good medium to connect among people. As you know, the chef Sang Hoon Degeimbre is a very famous chef, and he is a Korean-born and Belgian citizen. So we think his cuisine could be a good mixture, Belgium and Korea.
We are so proud of the role that he has played as a kind of ambassador, honorary ambassador, to introduce Korean cuisines to the Belgian society. Well, Korea has quite a unique traditions in terms of cuisines. We have 5,000 years of history, and our geographical identity as a peninsula, and also quite 4 distinctive seasons. All these have a quite important impact on the quality of Korean cuisines. I think that he's a well-known cook here. I think that he introduced a good quality of Korean cuisines to the European citizens here. So we are so proud of the role that he has played as an ambassador to introduce Korean cuisine to the European people.
When I started to cook, exactly, I wanted to cook as a French chef. Using products, really gastronomic product, really a kind of luxury product. And I wanted to have some local. It was the first step. I was Korean, I was interested by kimchi. I tasted for the first time kimchi when I was 15. I was not in love with, but step by step, discovering Korea, touching new products, sharing some techniques with different chefs in Korea. Step by step, I wanted to be honest with my part of Korean in me. And when I started to cook, it was maybe 5% of Korean in my cuisine. And step by step, now I think we are around 40%. Bo sam is the traditional name of a dish in Korea. Bo sam. Sam, it means you have to wrap. We use a kind of leaf, like cabbage leaf or lettuce. And we wrapped all different ingredients in this leaf, like oyster, pork belly, some kimchi, and you wrapped it and you eat it in one bite. I made a special gastronomic version. I just wrapped the oyster in Chinese cabbage leaf with a little bit of kimchi. We have to start to blanch all the vegetables and the oyster. I have to cut and just to preserve soft leaves. In the meantime, I would like to show you the ingredients for mousseline. This is butter, a little bit of yuzu juice, white egg and salt. Here is 200 grams. I have to melt butter. Next step, we have to roll oyster inside a cabbage leaf. We have to prepare mousseline. I just add all the ingredients. Really easy, huh? And salt. In the meantime, I would like to put this pork belly in the oven at 90 degrees, around 15 minutes. You have this kind of fusion between the fat and the comfort and the meaning of Korean food. For me, it's a certain way to link people together. Samgyetang is really traditional too. When you ask to Korean people what's your favorite dish, many of the time it's samgyetang. The traditional recipe is made with corn-fed hen. We fill this chicken with some rice, and we use some different ingredients. I don't use the whole animal. I use only the leg because the leg is really fatty and more tasty. And I debone the leg. You can see inside. I use a red pepper, some onion. Ginseng is really important in this recipe. Jujube, it's a small Korean plum. Some ginger, salt, garlic, rice. I fill the leg with rice. And I don't close totally. We put chicken on the pot. And I pour all the stuff on the pot. A little bit. They eat this kind of food when it's really warm outside. When it's warm outside, it must be more warm inside, and it refits you. I use the rice water and the rice, the leftover. Salt, this is 11 grams, some more water. And I let it cook for around 40-45 minutes. We continue with the side dish. Turnip, we have to slice them. We just add some spices and different ingredients from Korea. Soy sauce, a really light soy sauce. We pour some vinegar. This is gochugaru, a kind of red pepper powder. A slice of ginger. We mix all the ingredients together and I shred the spring onions. The dessert is kwabegi. Kwabegi is a kind of brioche. Here's the ingredients. This is some flour. Here is some sugar, some salt, dry yeast, cow milk, egg, butter. And this is the final touch. It's sugar mixed with some green tea. First step, we have to have a lukewarm milk, and you have to mix the yeast inside. During this time, I just mix the egg, and we combine together milk and egg after. Okay? Put the flour, one side the sugar, the other side salt. First time we have to let it rise for 30-40 minutes, and the second times we have to wait for 30 minutes. We have to mix egg and milk. Go to the mixer. We have to let it cool a little bit. We put it in the fridge for a few minutes. When you use your hands, you can feel the texture. We finish in the oven, 35 degrees. I roll the sticky part inside. You roll them, and after you turn them this way. 10 minutes in the oven, and after we have to fry them. And after this, you roll them in the sugar. I'm very honored to be ambassador, because I was by the president in 2008, ambassador of Korean cuisine in Belgium. It's an honor and it's a kind of responsibility too. I think the best thing is to be honest with you, and yes, I know I'm Korean, because when I was back in Korea for the first time, yes, I know I met so many people exactly like me, and being in Belgium, Belgium is my country too, and I'm feeling very well in both countries, and I am an ambassador of Belgium and an ambassador of Korea too. I'm really honored about that, really.